Perfecting Music with Tim Keys. This is Katende Grace Timothy, your man on the keys. I'll be taking you through a number of new modules, but Module 1 has 16 sessions. So this is the first session. Part of it, almost the biggest part, will be theory, because theory is important in understanding how music works, how this keyboard works. Minus theory, you'll have time of cramming and just memorizing things you can't understand and explain. But we want to go through some basics and see where we shall go. Now, the first will be talking about music itself. What is music? Music is an organized sound. Organized sound is what we call music. It makes music. Not every sound or any sound is music. When sound is organized, it makes music. For example, if you hear cars moving around, if you hear birds screaming, if you hear trees doing, if you hear anything that is not organized, is that music? It's not. So how do we organize music? And what is that organized sound that makes music? Well, we have about 4 components that make music organized. Number 1, we have what we call melody. A melody is usually the tune of any song. And what does that mean? The tune of any song is that identifier. If I did would you tell what that is? You will tell, baby Jesus. Why? That is the identifier. You can even go to the keyboard. You hear that? Baby Jesus. That is the tune. That is component number 1 on our music, on our organized sound. Component number 2 is called rhythm. Rhythm is like the heartbeat of any song, any music. Music is like life. Life has heartbeat. Has a heart. You have a heart. The heart has rhythmic movements, does, and is consistent. You will never have your heart beat 20 BPMs, beats per minute, and then in the next 10 minutes it beats 30 BPMs, the next 10 minutes beats 70 BPMs. No way. It will always be, if it is 70 BPMs a minute, that will be that. Now, the speed of the BPM, the beats per minute, may change, but the consistency and the number will not change over time. So that is rhythm of the song. Component number 3 is what we call harmony. The harmony of music is when we have a group of melodies with different pitch ranges that belong or blend to the tune of the song. So these different pitch ranges blend together with the tune. I'll give an example. We had our tune like this. Sorry. You see that? Let me give you an overview. This will give you the notes and the music sheet. You see that? You're having a C, you're having a D, you're having an E. So it is together like this. You see that? Now, this melody, we can pair it up with maybe 2 or 3 notes. We can first do 2, 3 or 2 notes. You see that? Do you hear that? That is called the harmony. You can also pair that with 3. Now, that is what called harmony. Now, when you look at another component, number 4, harmony is done. Now we're having lyrics. Lyrics, these are words of a song or the message. Every song has a message. Every song has a message. Everything we do in music has a message. So, simply lyrics, message. Now let's go to music alphabets. The music alphabets, you know that English has 24 alphabets from A to Z or A to Z. But in music, it was decided that we use only 7, the first 7 alphabets of English make up our keys, and we call them keys. So basically, we have A, that is 1, we have B, we have C, we have D, we have E, we have F, we have G, and after G, those are 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then we go back to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, just like that. Basically, that is alphabets. But they were rearranged from C. All these things I'm going to look at them in detail. And we shall also learn why they are rearranged in C. From C. Having seen the music alphabets from A to G, and we've seen them from A to G, let's now look at something important. Why do we have 7? Why do we use 7? Yet, you and I know, or you may not know, that we have 12 keys in music. Where do they come from? Where do we get the 12 keys from? Yet we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, only 7. So now, what makes that be 12? The other 5 come from what we call accidentals. The accidentals in music are sharps and flats. A sharp raises any musical key or note by a half step, and a flat lowers any musical key or note by a half step still. So sharps and flats are called accidentals, and we have 5 of them. Notice that we have A, but where do these, what are these black notes here? Look at the black notes. What are they? So those are we are called accidentals, sharps and flats. So when you play A, the next immediate note is going to be A sharp. Then you go to B, you go to C. That note there is going to be C sharp. You go to D, you go to D sharp. You go to E, you go to F. You go to F sharp. You notice that up there, these ones are called flats. I will explain that. You go to G, you go to G sharp. Then you go back to A. Now, because these accidentals have 2 names, depending where you're moving, it is either a sharp or a flat. Now when you look at this, it's a B flat. So it's both A sharp or B flat. You go to that, this is called B flat or C sharp. When this note lowers a note in front, it is called a flat. When this note raises a note behind it, it's called a sharp. So now you've seen that we have a C sharp, a D sharp, F sharp, G sharp, and B and A sharp, or a D flat, E flat, G flat, A flat, and B flat. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus the 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Having seen the 12 keys, accidentals, shapes, and flats, let's now go to the keyboard practically. My keyboard is a 61 key. You have that and that. From here to there, these are 61 keys. Now, you can even look at it, it's there, written 61 keys. And there are those that have 71 keys, and there are those with 88 keys. That is called a full keyboard. Now, we are going to look at the components of the piano right now, the keyboard. We have done some slight theory. Now let's look at the practical and see what happens. Look at the keyboard. You're seeing white notes from here to there. You see that? And you're seeing black notes from here to there. Look at that. Now, let's look at this closely. You see these two, you see these three. You see these two, you see these three. You see there are two, there are three, there are two, there are three, there are two, there are three. And why are they repeated over and over? The reason is simple. Because if they're not repeated, we would only have this to that. You see that? The keyboard will be that short. How would we be able to play this? Because we said melodies and harmonies. We said we have melody, we have harmony, we have all these things. How do we put all those together? So it is repeated so that we can have a number of notes to play and a number of different pitches to play. Now, let's look at the makeup of the keyboard. How do we tell that this is C, this is D, this is B, this is C? How? I have made the keyboard slightly bigger or even full. You can see my fingers, see all the notes. Now, we want to look at identifying the keys on the keyboard, such that when someone tells you, show me key A or B or C or D, you can exactly tell where they are. Now, the arrangement of these notes, we have these features. We have whites, they are low and long. Look at them. They are low and long. Look at the black notes. They are high, they are slightly raised and shorter. The distance is not the same. The length isn't the same. We have groups of twos, groups of threes, groups of twos, groups of threes, groups of twos, groups of threes, groups of twos, groups of threes. Now, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. This is going to help us identify the notes. Now, the very first thing we're going to look at is, where do we find the key C? Key C is found on the left of every two black notes. You see this group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, group 5. Every two of these on their left or below them is C. That is called C. So meaning you're going to have different keys, different C's. You have C, you have C, you have C, you have C, you have C. Why are you able to identify that? Because, yes, this is key C, but what is helping us is these two black notes. Whenever you see the two black notes, below them or on their left is key C immediately, not this one, but immediately on their left or immediately below them. So that is key C. I hope that is so helpful. And if, let me change this keyboard. So you see that? That is C. You see that? And that is C. You see that? And this is C. You see that? And that is C. And that is C. And then the last C, that is that. Now on this piano, you only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 Cs. Other pianos have 8 Cs and 7 Cs. Now, That is the first. How do you identify another key? I'm going to give you about 3 or 4 keys. The rest you're going to practice, because once you know the alphabets, you're going to be able to understand this. Or I can still give you the entire thing. But the identifiers, we've seen the C. Now, still on the 2 black notes, immediately on their right, which is this. This is going to be key E. Key E, key E, key E, key E, key E. And here the sound is the same. What differs is the pitch. It is the same sound but with different pitches. So the sound goes high and high and high, but the sound is the same. Okay, so that is key E. Let me change this keyboard so you can look at the notes, the names. You see that? That is E, that is E, that is E, that is E, that is E. Having seen that, let's look at the 3 black notes. Let's go back to our physical keyboard. You see 3, you see 3, you see 3, you see 3, and you see 3. These 3 notes are going to help us identify key B and F, and then in the middle in there G and E, G and A. So we have, that is the first black note, the second and the third, the group. This is key F. You see F, you go to the 3 black, that is F. You go to these 3, that is F. You go to these 3, that is F. You go to these 3, that is F. Now let's see if this agrees with us. You see those 3, F. Look up there. You have F0. Don't mind about the 0 there. That is F. Look on that middle keyboard there. You see the F written there with the blue color. So we have F, another F here. You have another F here, another F here, another F here. Notice that on every 3 is exactly on the left. You have F, you have F, you have F, you have F. Right. We go back to the keyboard. Let's look at the B. On the right of every 3 black, you have key B. You have B here. You see this is the right of them. They are right. You have this, they are right. You have their right. You have the right. You have the right. That is key B. You see that? Key B. And the sound must be the same. Only the pitch changes. Now, we are going to do a recap of all these, add together. We are going to add them together. We said on every 2 black notes, you have C. You see? You have C. You have C. You have C. You have C. And the last C is there. Now, our next thing is going to be F. We said on every 3 black notes on the left is F. 3 black notes left 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 F. Then on the 2, on their right, there's E, there's E, there's E, there's E, and there's E. So now let's find all the notes together, since we now know. We now know where they are found. So you see the black, they are arranged like that. So we have C, we have D, we have E. Next week. We go to F, we go to G, we go to A, we go to B, we go to C. As we say, they repeat themselves. Still D, you go to E, you go to F, you go to G, you go to A, you go to B, you go to C, you go to D, you go to E, you go to F, you go to G, that is A, this is B, this is C. Again, D, E, F, G, A, B. Again, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then lastly C. So now, for the entire week, this whole week, practice identifying the keys of the keyboard, and we've talked about music being an organized sound. We talked about a number of things. We talked about the tune. We talked about the melody. We talked about the rhythm, harmony, and lyrics. We talked about musical alphabets, having A to G. Talked about the sharps and flats, which are accidentals. We're doing a recap now. Then we've talked about identifying the keys and how the keyboard is arranged with whites and black. Now, the next lesson, we are going to go to something else after you have understood properly. So we are going to tackle another lesson that is called scales. But we need to first get this out of the way so you can understand what are scales, where do they come from, what do they do, all these things. So have a great weekend, and we meet